How's it going, Airsoft GI TV? We're here with Frank, Bob, and Jason to go over some of their past experiences with Airsoft and where is Airsoft today. So let's go ahead and jump right into the questions. So how did you guys first find out about Airsoft?
I actually found out in a paintball magazine called Action Pursuit Games. I was playing paintball a lot and just saw a picture of the guns. I was like, wow, it looks way cooler than paintball, and ordered one and haven't looked back since.
I don't recall exactly how and when, but it had to have been somehow related to the internet. And it was probably in junior year of high school.
Pretty good time to get into it.
Yeah, a while ago though.
Frank, how about you?
Yeah, my first dip into Airsoft basically was in Taiwan. I was a little kid, and it was a choice between video games or these cool guns all over the wall. So I picked a gun.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Definitely went with a good choice there. So when you guys first got started in Airsoft, did you guys have any idea what qualified as a good gun back then?
It was kind of hard. When I got reacquainted with Airsoft, there are a few manufacturers to pick from, and then some of the websites, they only had descriptions, not too much information. So didn't really know what I was buying.
Yeah. It was very similar for me too, because I tried to ask all my friends if they played Airsoft, if they knew anything, and no one had any ideas. So I just looked online and looked at the company that had the most guns they put out, and ended up being a good company, KSC. So it's kind of a gamble. It worked out.
For me, I know I purchased my first gun on eBay. Ended up being some LPEG. I knew it looked good, well, at least to me.
For those of our players out there who don't know what an LPEG is, Jason, if you could please just give us a brief description about that.
Low-powered electric gun.
So it's still fully automatic, but obviously lower on the FPS scale there?
Yeah, it was still an AEG. It's just muzzle velocity and range not so good.
Fired like 20 feet.
Maybe 20 feet.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Well, I was just going to say that, I know what looked good to me, and my choice is pretty much based on price and looks. So, and I didn't do too much research into that before.
So with that being said, do you guys feel like the newer players today that are coming into Airsoft have, too much information, too little information back when you guys started? Like, where do you feel the balance is now?
Well, I could put it this way. When I got started in Airsoft, YouTube existed, but there was maybe half a dozen hits for Airsoft. Now there'd probably be close to 500,000.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of information out there nowadays. I remember back then, I couldn't really dig up very many like forums or even reviews of these Airsoft guns. Didn't really know what I was buying. Nowadays, I mean, you can look on YouTube. You can look at there's multiple forums. There's even like informational websites out there that you can get a lot of information from, so you know what Airsoft is, what's good with guns and what's not.
I actually think there's way more information available nowadays than there was back when we all started, because I remember when I was looking for a gun, the only resources I had were just looking at the description, and then if there were any forum posts, which there usually weren't, then I was just kind of left in the cold. So seriously, there's so much information out. There's like 1 million experts on the web. It's basically just on the customer to go look around and research as much as they can before they make a purchase.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that you say that. Yeah, there are a lot of experts out there, and then you're gonna get guys that say, "Oh, don't listen to the stores," because obviously they're just trying to sell their product, and then you just got to pick the information out of every source that you possibly can.
Yeah.
So at least what it is. Some people might it doesn't really matter.
Just a broad understanding.
Yeah, I mean it's just a broad understanding. I mean, what else do you have?
Well, you said multiple forums. That's like doesn't even do it justice. There's a multitude of forums now.
Yeah.
Just so much information. And there's some camps, and it's not necessarily always a argument of good or bad.
So now, Jason, you touched earlier on the YouTube channel portion. Now, we get a lot of YouTube complaints that we have way too many M4s on there, but back when you guys started, how many M4 variants did you guys remember seeing?
Well, in terms of precisely how many variants there were, I can't recall, but in terms of manufacturers that had M4 variants, max, there was 4, at least on something that was the good quality stuff.
I remember when I started, there were probably only two M4s I could think of on the market, an M4, then an M4 RIS, and what I got, which was an M16. But that was all that was available, was basically Tokyo Marui or maybe Airsoft Elite I could think of.
Yeah, there are only a few manufacturers. You know, ICS, Tokyo Marui, Classic Army, and then SRCs, the four that I remember. And the only variants I remember was M4 carbine, M16 rifle, maybe a wrist version, and maybe like a kind of like chopped up version of two different ones, like a carbine with a full stock and a wrist. You know, it was just kind of ugly, but
Yeah, but I mean,
There's probably, well, any one manufacturer probably makes more variants
I
than
think-
all the manufacturers had variants at the time.
I was gonna say there's so many options nowadays,
Yeah.
it just dwarfs what we started out with. So
Now, to touch on that same point, Bob, I mean, I think everyone can agree that there's so many variants and models and just different companies out there that are producing pretty much, identical guns. Now, with that being said, if you were to go onto a website like ours, airsoftgi.com, and you looked and you saw those two guns that are on the table in front of you guys, if you guys just saw the pictures for those on the websites, I mean, would you really be able to find a distinct difference in those guns?
if I had no knowledge of the airsoft industry or airsoft in general, it would be next to impossible to tell difference unless either the descriptions were very good or if there's a video with it. Otherwise, off pictures, it's hard to tell because there's a lot of accessories on this one, which makes it look awesome, but that one is kind of bare bones. But it costs more, so it could be better. So it's hard to tell just off pictures and no information.
yeah, I mean, even the descriptions, a lot of times the descriptions are written so similar where it's almost just kind of like a stat sheet, and then maybe like this, the M4, this is what it is and stuff, but it doesn't truly give you like a feel of, what the gun is made out of and stuff like that, how it performs. So, I mean, back then, we actually, we had no information like that to speak of.
No.
It's kind of like a shot in the dark, oh, well, maybe I'll buy this one. It says it's metal, but I mean, for me, price is always, there's a reason why things are more expensive, why things are cheaper, and I truly believe you get what you pay for. So, if you're looking at, this M4 with all the accessories, but it's only $30, and you're looking at this one that seems like it has a rail system, cool stock, but it's like $400. Obviously, there's gonna be like a big difference, between the two guns.
Yeah.
Even though you can't really tell, but your shot in the dark is for $430.
Yeah.
It's gonna be kind of hard to justify. But
Big gamble.
yeah, back then we actually had to gamble.
Yeah.
Yeah, not knowing what I know today, I couldn't tell.
Now, along those same lines, like Frank was saying, you get what you pay for. Now, obviously, back when you guys started, there must have been some higher-end guns and some different price ranges. But how did you really know if something was skirmish ready versus something that, like we were saying, is $40 and not really going to get you very far?
I didn't. I admitted to falling into that trap.
eBay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, $60 will definitely get you interested at that low price rate. But I mean, we've got like Lancer Tacticals that are like $100, $99, and that's field ready. Like we had Daniel from Salesforce. He went out and just wrecked house at Tac City with those, and I mean,
Yeah, see that line nowadays it's not as distinct as it was before.
No.
So you can actually find an all plastic gun for $100, but it'll perform just like the $200 gun.
yeah,
So if you're not really sure if you really want to get into airsoft and you just wanted a gun with a battery and charger and it'll go out and shoot and you can actually go play with it, then the Lancer Tactical would be it'd be an awesome choice for you because you're just trying to feel it out.
Yeah.
You're not sure if you want to continue playing or not, but you don't want to go out there and just look like the bum that just doesn't have anything.
yeah. But I mean, even if you spend a little more time researching it and you're not sure if you want to spend the $500, you can get like the KWA CQR for $190, $189, and so on up. Like the good guns aren't necessarily still $400 or $500.
Oh no.
Even if you found a $400 one, like if you go to GI, you can use the coupon codes and all the other discounts and get it for $300 or $350 and still save a lot of money. So
You can definitely find something skirmishable for a good price.
yeah,
I mean, definitely there's a difference between the high end and just being skirmishable, but I mean, for what you pay for something skirmishable, you get a lot more.
yeah. And nowadays, like you have the opportunity to do all the research and find out, whether you're spending your money on something you really need.
So no, I think we can all definitely agree that the more time, the more research, and how you feel like you're going to play, you can definitely get something well within your budget nowadays as compared to previously. I remember Frank, you were telling me that it was basically you would go from $100 to $400 guns. There really wasn't much of a mid market, whereas there is nowadays. With the CQR, the Lancer Tacticals. So I think we can all definitely agree that if you spend the time, do the research, you will definitely get a good product out of that. So, well, I just want to thank you guys for coming down for this interview, taking time out to talk to all the fans out there. So. We'll go ahead and let you give the goodbyes.
All right. Well, Bobby X-Man Hildebrand.
Jason?
Hit that, Frank.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time on GATV.